What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We're going to talk about Shadowland and what to know about this team before gearing them up and chasing this team, because there are some things we need to talk about in terms of T4s. There's also some gear requirements we can talk about with them, but I've done some early tests and I'll show some footage of the team that I fought against a Doc Ock team. It was a punch down, but I just kind of wanted to do like a proof of concept. And I have to say, I have a feeling that at the very least, even if you're not chasing those high gear levels for countering Emma or Black Order teams, I think this could be a very strong Doc Ock counter, which is surprising considering there's quite a few city heroes here. But White Tiger and her heal block abilities, I think this team's gonna be pretty good against Doc Ock. We'll have to see in the future. We'll be doing some testing next week in War when I can afford to do some more testing on my own. And I even had people in the Alliance today asking me to do testing with Shadowland on our off war next week. So we'll find out all about this team and how well it's going to perform, at least what we think it's going to perform like until we get Moon Knight. But let's start with the T4s, because there's a few required ones, and there's a lot of hullabaloo around the amount of T4s you have to sink into this team. I'm actually going to be avoiding some T4s because I just don't quite think they're really required. There are some that you have like reworks with Daredevil and stuff, but I mean, they're nice, but they're not by no means required. But let's start with required ones. Number one, you're going to want the passive on White Tiger. This fills the speed bar for herself and Shadowland allies. Also gives them some bonus speed bar on kills, and we're actually going to talk about that in the Doc Ock fight as well. That speed bar boost was pretty huge for her against that team. But yeah, that speed bar boost for her and Shadowland, that's a huge deal. It also gives offense up to her and Shadowland allies as well. This Daredevil passive as well, the bonus speed for Shadowland allies, that's a big deal. That's actually pretty big because that's not boosted onto his normal part here already. With this 10% speed for Self-Defender and Shadowland allies, that is its own thing, and that's only applied after each character has taken a turn. There's another part in War where they gain an additional 10% speed. That is the part where this T4 comes into play, and that is a big deal. That makes them quite a bit faster than most characters out there. They are already generally really fast characters, so getting that to like a 20% speed boost, I mean, you're talking speeds faster than most characters. Daredevil's incredibly fast, White Tiger is incredibly fast. I believe Elektra also has a very high speed. She's got 114 speed, so she's not bad. But you add in a 20% speed boost between that T4 and after taking turns, you have a very fast team here. So I think that passive is also another one that's really required. This triage one for Night Nurse, I'm going to go for it because, it kind of drives her. And that's something you're going to want for some of these tougher teams where they're doing a lot of damage to your team. This really drives the speed bar in Night Nurse. And it actually was very clutch against Doc Ock, which we'll show that in the footage. That one plus this Urgent Care, we're allowing to flip negative effects. Without this, she starts at 0 energy on this ability. This is definitely a T4 you want on Night Nurse. You definitely want this one. And in the first aid, it's the one where you have the clearing negative effects. And yeah, it's a pain. This is one where, yeah, you're going to want this T4 as well. And this is actually really funny. I think this is another character where you may want to drop all 4 T4s on her. Because this, if she has 2 or more Shadowland allies, flip 2 positive effects to negative effects on the primary target, you can get by without this one for now, but down the road, I think that may be one you want to consider. And also, you may want to consider all the T4s on White Tiger too, but those are optional. We're only talking required ones here. So passives for Daredevil, Night Nurse, and White Tiger. The Elektra passive T4 is just applying evade and stealth. You can get by without that against certain teams. I'm not really worried about that one. And then the T4 passive on Moon Knight is the one where Shadowland allies and himself gain 20% max health. That one I think is going to be optional unless you're going up against the top tier Black Order and Marauder teams. You're going to want that max health, especially against Black Order. But outside of that, I think you can make that one purely optional. This is one you will want, though, the Death from Above ultimate on Moon Knight, because that clears all positive effects on all targets and apply negative effects for 2 turns. Definitely a required T4 for this team. So yeah, there's a lot of required T4s, and the nice thing is a lot of these T4s are also not bad. Like, there's very few T4s on this team where I look at it and say that's one I would never want to do, because most of them are pretty good. Like this one in War, applying Disruptor for 2 turns on the ultimate for Elektra. She gets this turn 1, so Disruptor for 2 turns, that's not bad. Into Shadow, this one, it clears an additional positive effect. So that's one you can totally pass on. Same with the basic here, definitely one you can pass on. But most of these are ones where you kind of look at them and yeah, they're really not bad. This is a guaranteed bonus attack on his basic. This gives the counter to himself and Shadowland allies. Yeah. There's not a lot of bad T4s on this. It just sucks that the way they optimize these T4s, a lot of them feel like you're required to go for them. So there's not a huge amount of required T4s by any stretch, but once you start investing those T4s, it's going to be like Black Order, where the more T4s you invest in this team, the better off they're going to be. At least that's what I'm getting the feel of from this team. So I think that's not going to be too bad. The problem is you're asking for a lot for punching across versus Emma and Black Order. So we'll do testing next week to see exactly what we can expect from that. So keep an eye out for that next week on the channel, because we'll do testing against teams to see maybe there is something here. We won't be able to do full testing until we get Moon Knight, but hey, we'll see. Maybe Moon Knight will be out next week and we can see what happens. So now we have that. Let's talk terms of stats. And this, I think, is where this team really starts to shine. Now, one thing I want to point out here on the MSF.gg stat table is that they have not updated the health stats for Daredevil, Elektra, and Night Nurse yet. I know that because I've been keeping an eye on this, and the health on Night Nurse has not budged since they did the update to health. So they have not updated the stat table yet for these characters. Fingers crossed they will. But this team, honestly, they're going to be very chunky. And let's start with Moon Knight. Moon Knight is number 9 on the list for health, right here at 419,000. So he's already thick. But the reason why he's got so much health is because he can't block. He also has a base damage reduction already into his kit. He has a 15% damage reduction. You can see that if you look over a little bit, you can see he's got a negative 1,000 block chance because he just can't block. That's part of his kit. So he's not allowed to block. He's got huge amounts of health. He's not bad there. If you take a look, and if you look at, if we go and look at each character, Night Nurse is sitting here at 242,000. But once we get the health buff to her, she's actually going to go close to 300,000 health on her. She's getting a 41% increase to her health. That's going to take her over 300,000, and that would start to put her in the range of the 60 to 70. She's going to be somewhere in this range, 50 to 60, somewhere in that range. So she's going to be a lot healthier. That's very good. If you take a look at Daredevil, he is sitting about 218. Once the new health stats are kicked in, he's sitting about 270, I believe. So he's going to be quite a bit healthier as well. And Elektra is also getting a big health boost as well. So it's nice to see that Scopely realized their health values were still really fragile. The stealth and evade that Elektra puts on them at the start of the fight, that's okay, but that's really not going to do a lot when you have characters that can basically get blown over by a light breeze. And against Black Order, you need that health. So those boosts to the health values, I think, are going to be very important for the Black Order fights, and we'll see how that goes in the long run. But yeah, I mean, that's one thing. And let's take a look at damage. And this is something I think is very important. If you look at the damage stats right now, yeah, I mean, you've got White Tiger right here at number 12. In fact, she pretty much ties with characters like Cole Obsidian, Spider-Man Symbiote, Yelena, Electro, Scream. She's got the same damage values as them. So they're all tied for number 10 on the damage stat board. That's not bad. That's very impressive. And when we go into the footage, you're going to see a 3 red, 3 yellow White Tiger with tier 12. She can do some damage. And yeah, I think that's something you definitely don't want to sleep on with this team, is that White Tiger, if there's one character that you're going to go for on high red stars, it should be White Tiger. Because most of these characters, they do have nice things like Night Nurse, you know, the boost to health with red stars is nice, but White Tiger has a lot of damage. And if you're going against a team with summons that has a lot of easy targets for you to take out, you can jack up the speed bar on White Tiger, have her going very often. And I mean, her Stalking Slash and her Thrill of the Fight special and ultimate, they're both for 4-turn cooldowns, but if you start boosting that speed bar, getting her going more often, every kill she gains 70% speed bar, those will be very short cooldowns. So yeah, I think honestly that's she's definitely a high red star target. I would not have any problems with going for high red stars on her there. Electro and Daredevil, Night Nurse, I'm not really worried about them. Moon Knight, I'm not worried about high red stars for him. White Tiger should be a high red star target for you or for anybody else who wants to chase this team. I think this team, honestly, it's got potential, and we'll have to see once things start coming into play. And yeah, I mean, we'll take a look at some of the footage here so you guys can see some of this. Yeah, so I mean, as we go into this, the one thing there's a couple things I want to check, and also I want to see how this is going to work. We need 4 Shadowland allies for her to apply Disrupt on this ultimate for Elektra. We'll see how that works. But they gave her the boosted to the focus, 500% bonus focus. So hopefully this can apply through deflect. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's not what I'm really going for. What I'm going for is I want to see what I could do with damage in terms of White Tiger. And yeah, not very impressive when you're going against a character with deflect and defense up. But there we go. We got a crit on Doc Ock. We got Daredevil going down the chain on everybody, scoring critical hits. Then 100k on that crit against Electro because of the defense down. And then I think it's something to consider as well, is that when we go into the future here with White Tiger, I should have just used the special on Doc because I could have given the defense down to him, because the ISO attack for White Tiger uses her basic, and her basic applies defense down and heal block. So I think Striker is going to be a go-to option for White Tiger. I can't really see going for anything else. Raider possibly, but that bonus attack with the heal block and defense down, that's huge, especially against certain teams that have a lot of healing and a lot of defensive mechanisms. That's a pretty big deal. So if we had gotten that defense down on Ock over here instead of going for Electro for some reason, that Daredevil ult chain would have done probably 100k against Doc. I mean, that's not bad at all. And he's critting on everything on his ultimate because he has Shadowland allies and he's got offense up. He gains 25% bonus crit chance per Shadowland ally. I think Raider's going to be an easy choice to go for on Daredevil because of that. So Striker on White Tiger, Raider on Daredevil. I think Skirmisher on Elektra is going to be an easy option here because you have her ultimate turn 1. She uses that, she applies vulnerable to Doc or someone else. You follow up with a special from White Tiger where it does a bunch of damage and does the bonus ISO attack to apply heal block and defense down. Can't really go wrong. At this point, I'm using Punisher just because it's Punisher and because he's got the Daredevil synergies. I mean, why not? Plus, it gives the heroes, city heroes, a bit of a bonus damage here. So yeah, we got a heal there on Doc, but then we're just gonna, This is where things start to get a little interesting. We have the ultimate from Doc here. He flips the offense down on Daredevil and White Tiger. All I have to do here is use the ultimate from Night Nurse, flips it back to offense up, and now we've got defense up on characters. And then we have the ultimate here, and look at this damage. 89,000 damage, 90,000 damage on a blocked attack from her ultimate. And you guys saw what my White Tiger is at. That's impressive. I think that this is why I'm kind of high on White Tiger right now. We'll have to see what she does in the future, but yeah, that kind of damage against a Doc that got blocked, and then she has the bonus attack anyways. Her ultimate can apply heal block. Her bonus ISO attack can apply heal block. We got the speed bar boost there on White Tiger because she's killing summon minions. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, this is like a 100k punch down because I just want to do proof of concept. But I think that if we take this team out to test it, I think we're gonna see a team that can actually carry its weight. We'll have to see how it goes in the future. But I want to know from you guys, what are you guys doing with Shadowlands? Are you guys chasing this team? Are you guys apprehensive on it? You know I'm going to be testing it. Are you guys just kind of waiting to see what people find out with their testing? I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about Shadowlands? But as always, if you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.